What is it like to not hear? What is it like to not be heard? These are things we often take for granted. And part of our voice community is to take you, the viewer, along with us on a journey into someone else's life. This week, we're going to take a walk in the mile of someone's shoes who is deaf. Davina Snow is gracious enough to allow us into her home. Let's take a look. So here we are in the home of someone who's deaf. This is Davina's home, and we decided to bring you, the viewer, along a journey, walking a mile in the shoes of someone who cannot hear. Let's take a look. Come on. So when the alarm goes off, this vibrates, and this is on your bed. Oh, you put it under the bed.
Yeah, I put it underneath the mattress, so it vibrates the whole bed.
So the whole bed shakes, and that wakes you up.
Yes.
This wouldn't wake me up. Do they have like heavier shakers? Like.
Sometimes people prefer a light, and sometimes people prefer this vibration. And actually, I prefer the vibration. That helps wake me up better.
But there are alarms with lights that come on.
Yes, and some do flash, that's right. And that's what I used before. I used a light to wake me up. And then I guess I got used to it after all those years, and I would sleep through it. So then I started using a vibrating alarm.
So we're here in Davina's office, and this is where she receives a phone call. So she's going to tell us how this process works.
So, we have phone calls just like normal, but we have a TV screen, and we use that to see people. We have an interpreter on the phone that will have a microphone so we can talk with hearing people. Currently, I'm talking with my husband here on the video phone. And so he can just call me directly, and we can communicate back and forth together.
So you shared when the phone rings, the light goes off somewhere else in the house.
Yes, we have an alarm to let me know that I have a phone call, and then I come in here and use this remote to turn the TV on, and there he is, just waiting for me to talk.
Again, thank you so much. This has been just an eye-opening experience, and I'm so grateful to have just stepped into your home, Davina, and stepped into just a small aspect of your journey. Thank you. So I made it here to the Arctic Circle in Kuna, and I'm going to attempt to see what it feels like to be deaf or hearing impaired. I brought some earplugs. I'm going to plug these in. I'm going to place my order, and I'm a picky eater, so this is going to be rough. And once I walk away, we're going to go audio off, so you're going to experience this with me, a moment in the life of someone who can't hear. All right, are you ready? Let's go. All right, so I thought I'd be more stressed out trying to get my order placed, but she was so accommodating, really, and the pen and paper really helped. The thing that got to me was once I sat down, I was just sitting here in silence. So very sobering moment, and yeah, I'm glad you shared the experience with us. That was such an amazing experience for me, and it wasn't about being out in the community without hearing. For me, it was about being isolated from the world around me. So first of all, I want to thank you, Davina, for allowing me to come into your home and bringing the viewer in there. Davina is an American Sign Language coordinator for the World Languages Department at BSU, and I'm so thankful that you're on the set with us here at Our Voice. First of all, can you tell us just one factor that seems limiting for you?
First of all, I want to thank you for having us. Really, I have no limits. I just progress in life with no limits. I feel like I don't have a disability. But I do want to let you know that a lot of people do struggle with employment. Deaf community members struggle with employment. A lot of businesses feel like they're not welcome. They aren't very welcoming. And they label us as disabled. But when you look at disability, I'd like you to take off the dis and just talk about the ability. There's so many things and skills that we can do.
We also have with us Michael Nelson, and Michael is the deaf mentor for the Idaho Educational Services for the Deaf and Blind. And Michael, we're so thankful to have you here. We were chatting extensively about the community of deaf and hard of hearing children and how parents initially are given such limited information. So I wanted to hear from you. What are some resources and where can parents go for support?
We have a really wonderful program. The Deaf Mentoring Program is really great. It's for ages K through 12. And really, we go out to the families in the community. It's a community-based service. And we provide sign language services. We teach them ASL. We provide them lessons in ASL so that their children can have full access to language. It's very important that the parents love their children for who they are and accept them for who they are. It doesn't matter that they're deaf and hard of hearing. They need to love them and allow them to have full access to language. And we believe that's one of the most important things.
We also have Sherry Matthews, and Sherry Matthews is an instructor at the College of Western Idaho where she teaches American Sign Language. She is also the president of the American Sign Language Teaching Association, and we are so thankful to have her here. Now, one of the things Sherry does is getting involved. How do we keep the lines of communication open between parents, between communicators in our community? So Sherry, I'm hoping to hear from you some ideas for support that the community can have and to break down those communication barriers.
Well, really for businesses, I just have to say you just need to be ready to communicate with the deaf community. Have a pen and paper ready to go so that you can talk to them. Learn ASL. All of us are instructors. Take a class. You can learn sign language as well.
Michael, I want to ask you one more question. Is there something that people can do to get more involved with and support the deaf community, especially when it comes to children? What can we do as a community?
We have a wonderful organization, the Idaho Educational Services for the Deaf Foundation, and you can make donations to them. Some deaf people are really isolated. Some deaf children are in public schools, and they don't realize that how many deaf children are out there. But then they go to deaf camp and they realize there's a lot of people out there just like me. And donate to the foundation. It's such an important organization, and that would really help our deaf community.
I want to thank you all for being with us. And stay tuned, because coming up next on Our Voices, one of the best voices in Idaho, we have Robin Scott from A Tasty Jam. Stay tuned.